It's Mad Men Sports, your best friends.
Hello, welcome back.
Diamond Dave.
Hello, everyone.
What's up, dog?
You know me.
Every damn hustle.
Mm-hmm.
Zach, how you doing?
Good. I love that Dave's here again. Is that three-peat?
Three in a row.
Love it.
God bless.
I'm not going anywhere.
Better not. We had some action this week, huh?
This is a very somber start.
What?
Indeed.
We had some action this week. It's a rainy day.
We should be excited. One of our rivals just got much worse.
The Chiefs?
We'll dive into that. I don't know.
Jets?
There's a lot to go into that. I don't really know.
Deep dive.
I don't know. There's a lot to go into that, I think. What do you think, Dave? Do you think...
We're doing it now?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's start off. Because today's the big news.
I
Tyreek Hill
think-
to the Miami Dolphins.
I think immediately it makes them worse. I think it was a very, very smart move, though, which is probably not the popular thing to say.
No, we've talked about that earlier today. It's an interesting move. I love what it does today and tomorrow.
I'm not going to mention it.
I just love all the pieces Miami's bringing in just to try to beat the Bills.
I will say what I was going to say. Is it something the Bills want to consider?
Is what?
Taking their top wideout and moving him in a couple years?
Oh.
I don't hate the idea. I don't hate the idea. I think it's something they need to explore when they need to cross that bridge. I think you have one more, because there's 2 years left on that deal. I think you explore that next offseason. You're probably safe and in the clear this offseason. But the money for wide receivers, at least the top ones that are already established in this league, is getting out of hand.
I think if you're going to think about getting rid of Diggs or letting him walk, you have to give heavy workload and see where Gabe Davis is.
And I think he'll get that. But it's funny because we're talking about this move that everyone's talking about, and none of us are scared of the Dolphins. It wasn't an upgrade for the Dolphins at all. I think it makes them exciting, but it doesn't make them good.
Well, I think it's definitely an upgrade, but I don't think that they're put in contention to threaten the Bills at all.
It's definitely an upgrade for the Dolphins. I don't think, okay, let's talk in the realm of fantasy, because everything's fantasy and numbers and stats and over and unders and over and pass and through. I think that Tyreek Hill's value as a wide receiver gets worse today. I think his value as a top wide receiver in the league gets worse fantasy-wise. He's got a worse quarterback by a mile. He's got a worse system. Mike McDaniel's a first-year guy. He stepped right into Andy Reid's offense and
The funny dude.
proven offense in the league. He loses a lot of things, and he's 28 in 2 years. By the time that they're on their second quarterback after Tua flames out this year, which it's going to happen because we've seen Tua for 2 years, he's played Tua much, if you know what I'm saying.
Dog water.
Yeah, he's not really doing anything special. So I think that it hurts Jalen Waddle's development because now they're going to try taking targets away from him to give it to Tyreek Hill. I don't think that it helps the Dolphins long term. They should have stayed the course, kept their picks, kept drafting, kept building around rookie guys, and kept moving along. The division isn't going to open up anytime soon for them. Maybe, though, in 2 years, it would have been perfect. I think they're jumping the gun a little bit with this move. In terms of the Chiefs, I think short-term it makes them worse. Long-term, they'll get much better from this. $20 million cleared off in cap space immediately. They get a couple picks, about four or five picks from this deal for a non-quarterback player. It's a pretty hefty draft load. They get a lot long-term. I don't think this year they'll be better, and they're already in a tough division. If they're ever going to reload, it'd be now.
They took advantage of the tough division because the Chargers are much better. Broncos look great. Raiders on paper look better. So right now, the Chiefs struck at the right time, and they have a top 3 quarterback. So if they're gonna do better, they're gonna do better now. And they got the Green Bay receiver. I can't think of his name.
Martez.
He's in for a workout.
Scantling. Yeah, and he's not going to replace Tyreek Hill. They got Juju Smith-Schuster over there. He's not going to replace Tyreek Hill. There's going to be a drop-off in their production. They'll still be a very good team. Their most lethal weapon outside of Patrick Mahomes left today. And that's just how it's going to go. He's in Miami. I don't think he's going to be used properly in Miami.
I can agree to that. Now, let's kind of spin this a little bit. We talked about what this means for the Bills, for the Dolphins, but let's talk about the Chiefs. Do you think that we are in a better position to get over that hump in the playoffs against the Chiefs?
100%.
Yeah, Bills got better than the Chiefs today, and they didn't have to do anything.
True.
Without a doubt. The Chiefs lost their best fastball today. I mean, Brandon Beane always talks about don't lose your fastball. He was a guy that was genuinely a fastball. As Brandon Beane mentioned in his off-season or end-of-season wrap-up, if there's a Tyreek Hill out there, give me him because that's what kind of guy he is. And obviously he didn't make the move for Tyreek Hill. Miami had more draft capital. The Jets had more draft capital. And those were the only two teams out there. And maybe those two teams are the only teams out there because they were looking and saying, man, we got young quarterbacks. How do we compete with the juggernaut of the Bills right now? This guy seems to be the problem. I don't think that it's specifically Tyreek Hill is the problem for the Bills. I think it's Tyreek Hill with Mahomes and Andy Reid was the problem for the Bills. I just don't see how this lines up. Put it this way. Miami might be thinking that this guy might be able to be a Bills killer. He's not. The Chiefs might be thinking we need to reload and we can do without Tyreek Hill. They're not better today. All teams involved. This is a rare lose-lose. I would say that.
I think it opens Bills fans and our eyes to we need a cornerback though, and that needs to be addressed. I think that Dolphins are a very fast team. Patriots, I'm not even discussing the Patriots,
Yeah.
and the Jets are garbage. But like we're going to be playing teams with good receivers, and we need to address the cornerback position. The good thing is that seems to be the only thing we need to really address,
And it's a deeper,
which would have been a really good segue.
which is a really deeper cornerback draft. And we'll definitely dive into it. We're less than 45 days away. Or less than 40 days away, really. We're getting really close.
Jeez.
Yeah, well, I'm excited. That Thursday night is a big Thursday night. The more I look at it in terms of numbers and depth that the Bills have, they're not going to be able to keep all their picks. They're going to see some movement, hopefully forward. I'm starting to zone in on some guys I really like for that cornerback spot. Hopefully they bring in a veteran from now until then to kind of just shore it up so you don't have to force yourself to take a corner in case it all happens. That's usually what Brandon Beane does. He makes sure that there's a veteran everywhere, and then he'll get a guy that on a rookie deal that's usually best player available. Like last year, he didn't want to take Boogie Basham, but he was just sitting there, and sometimes you have to take best player available. Best player is available in the free agency pool, got taken up this week by the Bills. That's what I would say. Some big moves. In terms of distractions, subtractions, Dave, Star Lotulelei cut by the Bills. How do you feel about that?
Couldn't be happier.
Yeah?
You guys know how happy I am about that.
Jake, how you thinking about that?
I think it's a smart move. I think continuing us adding assets to the defensive line, that kind of made him the odd man out and saved, $5 million on the cap?
It
Four.
hurts this year.
Does it?
They save 1.5, but they eat $7.5 million in dead cap, but it doesn't roll over into next year. They were thinking they would be able to save more money if they make him a post June 1st. They pushed that to this year. He's a right now guy, and I'm all for that. Next year, you want to have all your money free. Take the dead cap hit now.
See ya.
Move it on. And they'll be able to move around to it. They have, because they filled out their roster this week as well. Backup quarterbacks. Some thought Mitch would come back. Some thought Fitz would come back. There is no comebacks.
How did we pass over Matt Barkley? Of all those guys we were talking about coming back, how did we not think of him?
Oh, I think I said that as a joke.
Yeah, no, I think Brandon Beane did too. And then he was like, he's at the front door. Might as well let him in. Because they traded for Case Keenum. They traded a 7th pick. Like I said,
They're already getting rid of draft picks.
the picks to players available on their team, at least roster spots, there's a disproportional ratio. So they're going to have to start trading picks for Case Keenums. And they did. And they brought him in. They restructured his contract.
Week
That's good.
1, are Case Keenum and Barkley both on the roster?
I think Matt Barkley will be either cut or on the practice squad.
I think if anything, he's a practice squad guy. Listen, he's a glue guy for this team. You got to keep your glue guys in. Case Keenum and Stephon Diggs have a history from Minnesota. They were the two guys from the Minnesota Miracle.
Was he the quarterback?
Yeah. No, and so they got a little bit of a history there. So in case all hell breaks loose, you got a guy that has won playoff games with the wide receiver that you have on your roster. It's doable. You don't want to do it, but it's doable if you need to do it. Barkley's back. Doesn't move the needle, but he's a roster guy.
His social media is fun.
That's what some people say.
A lot of sponsored content, I've noticed.
Yeah, he's just here for a bag. That's all. He wants a ring so he can pawn it off in a couple years. That's all, too.
Gotta make it into an NFT.
They did get 2 big signings in my eyes. They lost out on J.D. McKissick, but they brought in Duke Williams, who over the course of
Johnson.
their career, Duke Johnson, they would never bring back Duke Williams. Over the course
Thank
of their
God.
years, Duke Johnson has had a better
Fans can't handle
career
that.
than J.D. McKissick. So I like that Duke Johnson signing. How do you feel about that, Dave? I feel like it's a good pass catcher, a proven running back. Had a good end of the season in Miami.
I don't love it, honestly. But
Tell me why.
I just think he's too young to be on too many teams. If I'm not wrong, I think he's been on Cleveland, Miami, Houston.
Yep.
That's young for a running back at that age. If he was good, he would have stuck with teams. I know his numbers, receiving yards numbers are good. I question also if he'll be on the team week 1. I think the Bills will draft one, and that might surpass him. I think it's opening a backup running back competition. But I don't know. Maybe Jake likes it. Maybe I'm wrong.
I think available, he replaces what they wanted in J.D. McKissick. And if that's what they want, then good for them.
Yeah, in terms of stats comparatively, he's got better numbers.
Play style.
Yeah.
Similar.
He's got better numbers. He's a better running back than J.D. McKissick was, and he's also a more proven pass catcher than J.D. McKissick. He played a lot of wide receiver in Cleveland, actually, and he played 3 seasons in Cleveland, and he was pretty effective. Had some decent fantasy seasons, if I can remember. But Duke Johnson, not a bad player. He caught that third and long pass from Houston against the Bills in the playoffs. That was a tough one to swallow.
Yeah, and in his defense, against my argument, he was backing up Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb in Cleveland. So it's hard to get past that.
And he doesn't like Baker Mayfield, but who does now these days?
Nobody does.
Nobody likes Baker Mayfield. Jamison Crowder, I love this pickup. He's got all guaranteed contracts, so he's not leaving anytime soon. I love it because I think it opens the door for you to be, like I said earlier, you don't have to force yourself to catch a wide receiver in the draft spot. You are, if there isn't one you do like there. I love it because his best game is against the Bills, 14 catches, 2 touchdowns, X amount of yards. That was his best game ever.
As a Washington or Jet?
As a Jet in week 1 2 years ago. Very interesting game. I remember it. And he's had some insane numbers. I could pull him up. His numbers pre-Josh Allen, Cole Beasley are better than pre-Josh Allen, Cole Beasley. That's pretty astounding. He's had 188 catches over the last 3 years. That's from the Jets. So with the Jets, he's had 188 catches, and they have far from good running back or quarterbacks there. And he's led them in receiving the last 3 years. So he's a good get. I think he's underrated by a mile. Jake, what do you think about our man Jamison Crowder?
I think that he, if this is what the Bills wanted to do, wanted to replace Cole Beasley in a true slot position. I think they did just that. And for pennies on the dollar comparative to the type of player you're getting in Jamison Crowder, he's on my fantasy team. I do know his worth. I probably will have to drop
Well,
him.
he had Zach Wilson throwing a ball too. So
Yeah, and Sam Darnold, which doesn't get any better. So I think with an actual quarterback, we'll see some fun out of him.
Definitely possible. Dave, what do you think?
So probably 3 years ago, before the Bills got Cole Beasley, Jamison Crowder was also on the radar. We obviously took Cole Beasley, and it paid off. He played well, all-pro. Jamison Crowder is also the same age Cole Beasley was when we got Cole Beasley. He's 28.
So we just got another Cole Beasley, basically. We just reset the clock.
Yeah, I don't think he's as good as Cole Beasley, but I think he'll fill the void that we want him to fill. I don't think we've seen enough out of him. I want to see what he does with a good quarterback, and he has one now. So maybe he'll be really good.
0 excuses this time around.
There you go. Thank you.
I got you, buddy.
That's what I would enjoy there. I think he's going to be a diamond many times this season.
In the rough?
He's going to be a diamond in the rough many times this
We
season.
got to get that sponsored.
We did by Man Sports.
Call him. Call James.
And then they also got this other guy, Marza, offensive lineman. I think he's a depth piece.
I don't know anything about this. You could tell me all about him.
Baltimore, right?
I don't need to. He's a depth piece offensive lineman. You might not see him on the field.
Which
That's
is
all.
fine.
Ryan Bates, let's talk about it. Mike Atwood emailed us today. He wanted to talk about Ryan Bates. Ryan Bates has been to Minnesota. He's been to New England. He's shopping himself around. What do you guys think if he does go somewhere else?
I think we need a right guard. I don't think Cody Ford is a serviceable lineman. Maybe he surprises us, but in the event that Ryan Bates is gone, I look to draft a right guard in the first 4 rounds.
That's possible.
How does this work with restricted free agents? Isn't it that we match whatever offer he has?
Yeah.
Okay, so how it works is he has a 1 year, $2.3 million deal with the Bills. If no one offers him anything, he just on the Bills. Currently, he counts for 2.3 of their cap space.
And when does this end? This period end?
I don't think
There is an ending period, but it's not until like end of April. So right now he is currently holding a 2.3 spot on our roster. If someone gets him for 3 years, $5 million apiece, and the Bills decide not to match it, the Bills then clear 2.3 on the cap this season for him.
But isn't there a tender thing where we tender him with a draft pick?
They can. They didn't though. They did no draft compensation. They wanted to make it easy for him that if someone wanted to pay him handsomely, they can.
And what about Ike Bogner? Is he still with the team then?
Got hurt in the New England game. He probably will not sign until maybe September at that point. But he probably won't sign, period.
And I'm not too keen on my offensive lineman. I will get to my point in a second. He is definitely a starter.
Who?
Ryan Bates was a starter on our
Rick
offensive
Ryan
line.
Bates is 100% going to be a starter for this team.
So then that would be a gap to fill. So that the worry would be the Bills go offensive guard round one, and I don't want that.
Yeah, well,
Would that be a concern?
I don't think so.
They would be taking care of Ryan Bates by then. I think that he's too much of. I don't think he leaves, and I'll tell you why. Because I think he's got 5 career starts. The value is in the team that would be willing to pay him $2.3 million. I don't know if New England's going to do that, even though that they're making some wild decisions.
They're dying to do something.
Yeah, they're making some terrible decisions, losing out on everybody and their mother. Vikings could be looking for him. I think there's better offensive linemen out there for the Vikings. Like I said, he's got 5 career starts. I think Ryan Bates' value is with the Buffalo Bills, and that's why I think he'll be back this year.
I sure hope so.
I think he kind of knows that that's his value, too. He's just probably shopping himself around, seeing what is actually out there for him, which is his due diligence and why the Bills did what they did.
He's just getting some free
What
steak
if we do these
dinners.
teams a favor and we say, we're going to keep Ryan Bates, but we'll give you Cody Ford for real cheap?
I wish.
That's not really how that works, and they're pretty much locked because they drafted
It's not a
Cody
flea
Ford.
market?
They're into a guaranteed contract with Cody Ford, so you'll see him on the team as well, which I don't think is a bad thing.
2 more years, I think he's got left.
I think it might be his last,
Think
but I don't think Cody Ford's a bad thing, and I think there could be a reclamation project, but we'll have a segment on that this summer because there's plenty of time this summer.
Indeed.
What was the biggest move
Indubitably.
of the week for you, Dave? Was it Tyreek Hill? Was it any of the Bills moves, Bills trades, Bills cuts?
I think the thing that shakes everything up the most is Deshaun Watson going to Cleveland, because I don't know if he's playing this year. I'm not a district attorney. I'm not the commissioner. I don't know if he's actually playing this year. But if he is, Cleveland's going to be a very good team.
I'm going to say this, and I don't want any comment. Fuck Deshaun Watson.
What do you think is the biggest
This
move?
isn't a pro Deshaun Watson.
I was just saying. I
No,
don't-
no.
If he plays, it shakes things up.
It will. I think as a whole, the AFC West might eat themselves alive. I think the AFC North might beat themselves up. Matt Ryan went to the Colts this week. I think that makes a little
I
couple.
should have picked that.
I think a couple things.
To be fair, we said the Bills.
No, you didn't.
We said,
Yeah.
well, yeah, it doesn't matter. But I think a couple things changed in the AFC South a little bit. I think the Jags couldn't get better. I think the Colts could be better. They need some wide receivers. And the Titans could still be status quo there. They picked up Robert Woods this week. Good for them. Good for him that he's still getting.
That is a very good move.
I miss Robert Woods.
But the AFC South got a little bit more competitive. The AFC East is now boiling down to maybe it's just the Bills and the Dolphins.
Fine by me.
Dolphins haven't beat us in 7 years.
It's
Come to
not
me when
true,
they
but
do.
they are 7-1.
Chris Brown said
2018, that Charles Clay dropped
He
a
dropped
touchdown.
it. Yeah, Josh Allen almost willed them back.
So-
Josh Allen has their number. I'm not worried about the Dolphins ever, honestly.
7 games, I think the stat
Yeah,
was.
He had 7-1.
Yeah, he's
Oh,
7-1 against the Bills or against the Dolphins. But I think a lot of interesting things happen, and I think it all shakes out to the Bills are probably going to be favored for the 1 seed, and I'm really happy about that.
Oh my God, yeah.
Let me make this quick take about Tyreek Hill. I know you want to. You go first.
I don't think I had anything.
Perfect. So I'm going to make this quick take about Tyreek Hill. So the Bills got Von Miller, okay, to chase around Patrick Mahomes because it was too easy for him to sit in the pocket and chuck the ball to Tyreek Hill. So what do the Dolphins do? Think, oh, okay, I want Tyreek Hill on my team. But the Bills still got Von Miller to now chase around a worse quarterback on a worse offensive line and a worse system to stop them from getting the ball to Tyreek Hill. I don't think there's much to worry for the Bills today. Their plan was to stop Tyreek Hill, and all it did was make his value, like I mentioned, worse, so it's easier to stop Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, I think part of the allure with Tyreek Hill is he's got a scrambling quarterback. I don't know too much about Tua. I don't think he scrambles, though. And I do know he has a really bad offensive line.
And a bad arm. Rag arm.
Yeah, so
And a goofy coach.
Tyreek Hill is going to Miami to die.
0 state taxes. That's fine.
He's just going to make his money and end it.
Damn.
I mean, he had a chance to go to the Jets.
R.I.P.
Now, guys, Wednesday, we want to do Wednesday night or Sunday night this week?
Sunday is tough for me this week. I'm hanging out with Mom.
Okay.
Oscars are on.
We'll do next Wednesday.
Sounds good to me.
Next Wednesday, we'll be for recording. It'll be out to you next Thursday morning. We will be talking about the draft.
I want to formally invite you guys, too, to WrestleMania next week.
I don't have
What
tickets.
day of the week?
It's Sunday. We could watch at Zach's house.
I thought you said Oscars.
Next Sunday
Maybe.
is WrestleMania.
I'll let you know.
I don't know what the schedule is. Actually, what days are WrestleMania?
Saturday night and Sunday night.
Do you know the number dates?
Second and third. Biggest part of the year.
Hell yeah.
We'll talk about it. I like the idea. Let's do the draft next week.
Word. Sounds good to me.
Okay.
'Cause we're getting real close.
Are we still recording?
Take care.